Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Create Astral Modded Minecraft, where we're getting started on moving on to the actual superheated stuff. And those blazes over there are being really loud. I'm so sorry. Oh, it's nighttime. I sleep then. Okay, as I was saying, we are actually going to be moving on into this to make our steel ingots, because we have these guys all started to be auto crafted. Their production facility is finished over there, and I've got, I think, 12 or so waiting on me right now. But in the meantime, I've been flattening an area, as you can see, behind the iron farm, because there's a couple things that we're gonna be needing to do in a large area, and that is this. So we actually need to start making these oil cells. Now, these oil cells can be made a couple different ways. This way, which is what we're going to be doing, or I could go out onto the map and go like, this is an oil spot. We can pick up this crude oil, and yeah, that can be just turned straight into the fuel that we need to superheat. But this way, with the industrial centrifuge, is actually a lot better, because for 16 soul sand, we get an oil cell, coal dust, saltpeter, and 10 sand back, which we can then just turn right back into soul sand and repeat this process. The only issue being that these cells need 10 ingots, and those can be made pretty easily. I just gotta remember how to do it. Either way, I have the tin, I can make it, and their tin is a renewable resource, so I can just set up another process of that, and so we'll be good. But it is going to require an industrial centrifuge, which this is a multi-block. It's not just, oh, go away. It's not just, oh, it's this one block. No, this one block needs like 9, 18, 27, 26 other blocks roughly to actually make it, because it's usually a 3x3x3. Some of them are a 3x3x4. So yeah, it's going to require a lot of these blocks, these advanced machine frames, which thankfully we have lead plates and we have a way to make the basic machine frames. I just have to make them en masse. So hence why I needed a lot of space. So I'm going to go ahead, start gathering the materials to first start up the oil cells themselves, which is the industrial centrifuge. So I'll get that stuff and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I've got everything, and I even brought over some power from back that way. I hooked up the extra lava thermal, thermal generators that I had. I hooked those up, had them feeding lava, and I'm just bringing that power over here because this guy is gonna need power. So yeah, it also turns out that this specific one is actually just a 1x1. I thought this was gonna be one of the ones that needed a frame around it, but I guess not, because even looking into the quest, it just doesn't say anything. So I'll try putting power into it and we'll see. But for now, we're going to base it off the assumption that this is just the one block we need. So with that said, I also noticed when I was getting some of these cells together, they're in here. When I was getting these cells together, they completed 2 quests. So it seems like not just recipes are broken with this, but also quests are broken with this. Yeah, that's fun. But we're going to be simply moving on from that. I need this guy. Give me here. We're going to be starting all the way back here with a simple cobblestone generator. So let me put this guy down. So we're going to have a cobblestone generator right here. And then probably about here. Let me get my wrench. Where's my wrench? Right here is where we'll have our wheels. Our first set of wheels. And then we got a way to block. And then another set. I placed that wrong. Come here. So yeah. This guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. So cobblestone into gravel, into sand, and then we will... Oh, I need a depot. Or no, I don't need a depot. I need these casings, because then I will put this guy down here. That's wrong. That there. And then you... Oop. And then we can put a brass funnel with a soul sand filter there. That way this only accepts the soul sand, and this needs this input from the back. And then this, no, not that. This input from the top, because that's where this guy is going to go. Oop. And we should see... Actually, I probably want power there. So I should probably change this to not there, but there. And you will export out there. There we go. Okay. Now, all I got to do is hook up our electric motor and our rotation speed controller. And boop. No, I'm going to have to put that somewhere else. I can probably get away with putting it right there. But yeah, let me fully build this thing real quick and actually sleep, because this place is not lit up. Okay, so it made it. I accidentally clicked go live and accidentally missed it getting to 99%. But yeah, that's just how it works when you go click a button. But it did give us 4 saltpeter, 10 sand, coal dust, and the oil cell we want. So it looks like the sand will have 6 iterations of this before we start running into issues where I'm gonna have to make sure that this filters out. With the sand, I can easily feed back into the system if need be. The oil cell, we can just, send it off to... We have to do what? Using fuel buckets on blaze burners. Buckets. Yeah, important. Yeah. Blaze burners to read them. Try distilling some oil cells in the tower. So we got to get the distillation tower, which is the next thing. So the oil cells, so we'll take things along. This will go into a distillation tower, which is actually a huge craft. Like, it requires 2 industrial centrifuges and 2 electrolyzers. So, and they require a lot of things themselves. But, yeah. The oil cells will go into the distillation tower. The distillation tower will then pump out the fuel. So... yeah. Give us the fuel cell and sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid was needed for something else. I don't remember what now. I think it was on the other side of the quest book. I think it was over here somewhere. But the banana dust, it's actually the saltpeter. The saltpeter and then the industrial centrifuge. No. And the electrolyzer will turn into potassium, nitrogen, and compressed air. The air we can just let go of. But the potassium is going to go down here to make these coolants. Yeah. Sodium and potassium. Oh, the sodium. Yeah. It's a big old list. Like, a lot of these things in here are actually somehow interconnected. Ooh, coal dust. Thought you could get away. So this coal dust is actually gonna, looks like it's gonna cycle into some other stuff. This is gonna turn into an incandescent lamp. No, into a carbon mesh that is superheated. That's gonna turn into machine parts, which then turn into a digital display, which then... I thought there was another way to make a digital display. That's weird. But either way, we'll keep the coal dust, so we'll have to send it somewhere else. And yeah, it's just the sand that we're going to have to cycle back in and kind of find something else to do. Ooh, you know what? Actually, we can turn it into clay. Because over here, this clay dust, which is clay into clay dust, it's needed for the sodium. That's what it was. So we'll send off the fuel to go into a distillation tower, the saltpeter into an electrolyzer, the sand into a washing station to turn it into clay, and then the clay will get turned into clay dust, the dust into, yeah, that sounds good. So that's the start, but we need to start storing the stuff real quick. So I need to make 4 little cubbies. I have 3 crude storages. So I need to make another, and I need to put them just like right off here. So let me go make another crude storage, and let's get those belting out. Alrighty, so I got all our stuff storing up, and I even went ahead and made the distillation tower. And yep, it turns out that this guy, it doesn't look like it needs anything, you know, it just looks like that. Except when you click on it, it says incomplete multi-block. Yep, we need more blocks, and that's actually kind of hinted at in the quest itself. So I need 9, 18 of both types. I need 18 standard and 18 industrial. So yeah, so I gotta go make those real quick, and they're not too hard. If we look at it, you know, it's just simple, you know, sheets, that, and then this is just those with sturdy sheets. So I need 36. Oh, buddy, it's a good thing I just made some machine frames. I need 36 of the standards, and I got to turn half of them into the industrial. So that's going to be fun. Oh, boy, that took a while to get done, but I got all the standard machine casings and all the industrial ones now. And look at that, the industrial quest just, or the distillation tower quest just finished. I clicked on the wrong thing. Yeah, this one just finished. So now we actually will be making fuel here in a second. But yeah, that took a minute because I had to go and start making more integrated circuits because I ran out of the ones I had in my ME system. Or is it A? Is it ME or is it A? Either way. So now we just take these guys and we follow the pattern, and oh, I didn't need as many as I thought I needed. There's a gap right here in the center. So we do doot 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 doot, and then we do doot 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 doot. Don't get me wrong, we still needed a lot, and like we're only like needed 2 less than what we have. Boop 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 boop. That should be the completed. It is. Now if we run power over to this bad boy, do I have the power stuff? I do and I don't. So I will build a temporary tower. Okay, put you there, there, 8 there. And then if we do this, we should be able to, yeah. There we go. Now we're getting power. And if we just test this real quick, see what it completed some quests. Like, it's dumb. But if we do that, wait, we gotta do that. And then we gotta yoink some of these. And do that. Holy balls, that eats so much power. That ate so much power. My lord. How much power are you using? 52 FE a tick. I'm generating more than that, but I don't think these guys can transfer that quickly. I think that's our biggest issue. I may have to move the lava gen actually all the way over here. But I get to sit here and wait while this does its thing. And I'll bring you back and hopefully not go live the next time I do it. Alrighty, we're at 97, 98. We're getting there, and we should see 3 things. Yes, fuel, sulfuric acid, and we're good. Now this fuel, can I put this into... How much does this make? This makes 1 bucket. That's good to know. That's good to know that it makes a bucket, because then we can just feed these guys directly. Using fuel buckets on blaze burners in the same fashion as a lava bucket will superheat them for a short while. This is required to unlock future recipes, including the all-important steel, which I think technically we can now make, because steel dust, yeah, I don't see why we couldn't just do all this in one process. Yeah, because if we superheat it, this will turn into that. Oh, and we're getting coal dust. So we could theoretically just feed some of the iron from there, coal dust from here, and the fuel from here, and then it just turns into steel all over here. But I'm pretty sure we're gonna need some of this coal dust. Yeah, right here. But I did find out that if you look, we only have 5 chapters. So we're in chapter 4. We're almost done. We just got to get down to the rocket and then to this. So I don't think I'm going to be completing every quest. What is this? Oh, ultimate quadruple. Okay. Yeah, I've already done that. But yeah, I don't think I'll be completing every quest unless I absolutely need to. I think I'm just gonna get to the end. See how this one's a cog? Yeah, the cog ones are the major ones. I think those are gonna be the only ones I'm gonna aim for. Because I'm pretty sure... I thought this was gonna unlock... Does this unlock... No. I was gonna say, I think this cog would unlock a, see how this says 3.5? But there's no 4.5, yeah. So 0.5, 1, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5. Yeah. So once we get done here, we'll move on to chapter 5, and then we'll move on from there. But now I gotta get these things fed the correct direction, which should be easy enough. I mean, I just gotta turn this off and go into there. But yeah, let me do that and let me see how much video time we have left. Okay, so there's only about 10 minutes left in the video, so there's not really enough time to start building a whole new factory, or at least continue on the factory that I'm working on currently. But what I can do is show you what I've been doing. So you see how the oil cell is missing, and there's a big old tank over there, and these numbers are a bit different. Yeah, I switched things around a little bit to keep the cycle going in on itself. So I moved the oil cell over here so that it can automatically feed into the distillation tower. And if you look down here, I have some empty cells being fed in from the bottom as well. But what happens is this guy, because he can pull in and out just straight from belts, yeah, I don't have to worry about like putting chutes, funnels, or tunnels on this. I can just literally put the belt right up against it and then pull in and then push out, which I wish I was able to show you right now. But this guy will push out the resultant fuel cells and the sulfuric acid cells this way. The sulfuric acid cells go into here, which is just a backlog just for now. But the fuel cells then go over this fluid or item drain. Not fluid, I was reading fluid container. But no, this item drain. This item drain then pulls the fuel out and stores it in here. So as you can see, we've got 26 buckets worth of fuel. Now the sulfuric acid actually goes right over this guy, pretty much the same way as right there, except it goes down here into this tank, and we've already got 50 buckets of sulfuric acid. Now, both of these, after going over the drains, will send empty cells somewhere. So this side, the empty cell will go onto this belt. It'll go around and around. And then there, the sulfuric acid cells will just jump off that item drain to land on this belt. And what they'll do is they'll come here. They'll split off between these two routes. This one just feeds it down into another crude storage, which just feeds itself back into the distillation tower. And the other side, it goes up here, over here, and down here, back into this crude storage cell, just for this guy. So it's all self-contained. All of these cells will work as they are right now. However, these 3 items are still ancillary items that I need to figure out what to do with. Or I should say, have figured out what to do with. The coal dust we're going to send over this way to be joined up with some of the iron from the iron farm to actually start making the steel. Because steel, we have to make the molten variety from steel dust. So that requires coal dust and iron ingots and a heated blaze burner. So we can literally just send the coal dust this way, bring the iron in, and we can start making the steel dust over here. And then we can superheat it and turn it into the liquid variant, which we can then pour out. That's one thing we can do with the coal. There is another quest line that requires coal, and that's down here. That's after we make the steel already. So this coal will temporarily be used to make steel. After that, we have another way to do it. But moving on to the saltpeter is needed for, as it says, banana fluid. We essentially need to take the saltpeter, put it in an electrolyzer, and get potassium, nitrogen, and compressed air. Now, the compressed air can kind of just go off and do things. Because I already have compressed air somewhere else, I'll probably just empty these out somehow. But the potassium is what we need. This nitrogen cell can be used for something else. I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but what we're focusing on is the potassium. So the potassium needs to be merged with sodium to make these NAK coolant cells because they're needed to make the rocket. Well, as you can see down here, I also need sodium. The sodium I can only get recipes are bugged. It's stupid. But sodium can only be gotten through, sodium water, which is through clay dust being electrolyzed into lithium and sodium. And then lithium is another item that we just kind of got to throw off to the side. The lazulite dust we can actually throw back over that way to create more lapis, which is nice. But the resulting lithium, like we said, is going to go into the coolant. And the only thing we need to worry about is how to get the clay dust. So this clay dust is obviously made from clay being ground down, and clay can actually be made from sand at a 25% chance by washing. And look how much sand we're getting from this. So just from cobblestone being made into soul sand, we get enough sand to actually make more clay, which then will help us make the NAK coolant. All this just right here is what we need essentially to move on. So what I'm going to do in the next episode is I'm going to try and get the sulfuric acid to be turned into what do I need the sulfuric acid? Right, I need to electrolyze it to turn it into hydrogen and compressed air. So let's see. Okay, so the sulfuric acid, what we're going to be doing with this guy is we're going to electrolyze it into a hydrogen cell and compressed air cell. We also get sulfur as a result, but the sulfur can just be putted off to the side because we don't need sulfur for anything unless we want to make sulfur dust, which we don't, so meh. But we can take the hydrogen cell and the compressed air cell, and we can make water cells, which are also going to be needed for... Okay. Yeah, there. The 10K water coolant. So the water cells plus tin will make this, which then goes into the lithium or NAK coolant. So that's where the sulfuric acid comes in. So we're going to turn that sulfuric acid into 10K water things. We're going to turn the sand into clay, which then is going to turn into lazurite and all the other byproducts. And then we'll also try to get the saltpeter worked in, but we'll see how that works out. But that is going to be it from me this episode. I want to thank you all for watching. Make sure to click like, subscribe, and maybe join the Discord because you can get notified anytime I go live over on Twitch and anytime I post a new video here on YouTube. I love you, I'll leave you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, y'all.